Hey, everybody. Thank you for checking out this episode of Raised on the Radio. I am one half of the show. I am Colt Brocado, my good friend Patrick Blair in Zoomland as usual. So we're recording post 4th of July by a few days. So how was your weekend? Did you do anything special for the 4th? How does your kid handle fireworks? All that good stuff.
My kids slept through. It was a war zone at my house. I'm not going to lie. Fireworks until 2 a.m.
Yikes.
Pissed me off. My kid slept through all of it. My dogs.
Yeah.
Thought there was a war outside. Panting in my face, slept on my face.
Yikes.
Let me just say this. If you shoot fireworks until 2 a.m., you're an asshole. I don't care what kind. Even if they're bottle rockets.
That's just in general, or do you think you give more leniency for certain days? Like on the 4th. Well, actually, on the 4th didn't really work this year because it was on a Monday and people had to go back to work on Tuesday for the most part. But
Didn't seem to stop the people around me.
But like Saturday, okay, when a lot of places did the fireworks and stuff, you don't give people leniency to do it for however long?
Until 2 a.m.? No. In a residential neighborhood? No. Fuck off. You're assholes.
Do you have any idea what the guidelines are for your town?
No idea.
No.
Didn't seem to be any because we're talking fireworks shows until 2 a.m. Not just, like I said, bottle rockets, a few firecrackers. No. Like legit fucking, oh shit, was that a bomb or was it a firework? That.
Nice.
My son slept through it all. It was amazing. I didn't sleep.
Where are they shooting them from around you? Like in the street?
Some in the street. Like I thought I was going to have to get up and go talk to these kids because they were just lighting off like whatever they are, fucking M80s or whatever super loud bullshit. It serves no purpose other than just being disruptive, which I've been there. I was a kid. I understand. And I was, believe me, we were assholes with fireworks. But yeah, I thought I was going to have to be like, hey, guys, it's midnight. I got a 2-year-old who's sleeping right outside the window. You're like, you gotta calm down. But I didn't. So I've never been, and I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. I've never been a big 4th of July guy. I don't really care. I've never cared. Never cared. I don't care. Have you? Do you get into it? I don't care. Like I know you did your usual thing, like you went camping and shit, but like you do that on a Tuesday. You don't need the 4th of July. Right?
I mean, the camping thing just started a few years ago, I guess, when we first got a camper. But no, I don't get into it near as much as I used to. I mean, we'll go and watch a show, if it's like one close to home, if we're home.
You say watch a show, like a fireworks show?
Yeah.
See, I've never given a fuck.
Yeah.
Even when I was a kid.
I don't care as much anymore as I used to. It's not near as fun for me anymore. Now it's just the same old thing. Maybe I'll get more into it now that my son's here because like he enjoyed it. We had like headphones on him or earmuffs or whatever on him. He enjoyed it up until the point where he wanted to go to sleep and they weren't letting him go to sleep because they were so loud. So he was like rolling and tossing and turning and stuff like that, but he enjoyed it up until that point. So maybe I'll get back into it. And I'm, once he gets to like the age to where it kind of gets fun again to buy fireworks and stuff like that, I might get into it, but I don't know. We'll see.
Now, as a teenager, different story. We would have 4th of July. Oh shit, let's go buy fireworks. Let's be disruptive. Okay. As an adult, I don't fucking care. The whole holiday of it and celebrating, don't care.
You don't care about independence, bro?
No.
Come on.
I do not. Do you care? Do you actually
fly your
American flag real high?
I feel like you party it up more on Cinco de Mayo than you do on 4th of July. Am I right?
I like Cinco de Mayo. I like Cinco de Mayo because I'm white. And it's an excuse for us to get shit-faced.
I think you may be in the wrong place, man.
What do you mean?
You celebrate the independence of other people instead of us.
That's not actually what in Cinco de Mayo celebrate.
What is it?
It's a celebration of a battle that the Mexican army won, not actually their independence.
Is that a well-known thing?
Yeah, well, it should be.
Am I dumb for that? Am I dumb for that?
White people don't know it because they don't care. It's just an excuse
Cinco de Mayo was Mexican Independence Day. Or is that just what they call it?
That's what ignorant white people who want to drink margaritas call it. That's fine. I'm one of them.
Again, all we need is a Tuesday to drink a margarita.
That's all you need. Yeah, I don't care about 4th of July. I never really, it's just not, I don't care. This year, no, I didn't do anything. So I'm trying to think of what did I do on the actual, I took my son to get Mexican and I had a margarita on the 4th of July.
There you go.
You're right. Cinco de Mayo.
You even did Cinco de Mayo on 4th of July.
I did Cinco de Mayo on 4th of July. Damn. That's funny. But I will say this too: if you're still an asshole that shoots their gun on one of these holidays, it's like
Did that
in a
happen around you?
residential area, right?
People are shooting guns in the air in your area.
Yeah, I could hear a few.
Yikes!
You can go in any neighborhood, and you can hear a few. Whatever. But
I
hey,
wonder
those
what makes you feel the need to do that.
because you don't realize that those bullets have to come down somewhere into someone's home.
I guess.
It's not the real need to do it, but it's what they don't think about. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think on New Year's I might go to the woods. You Airbnb your
you-
place. We
Are
might
you
go to the
being
woods.
serious? Are you
Yeah,
being
I swear to
serious?
God. Yeah. I might get the fuck out of here.
I mean, for what? Like you're talking about New Year's. We're talking 6 months away. Why are you already scheduling your New Year's?
Because I saw what 4th of July looked like.
Oh, so was it worse in your new place than your other place?
Yeah.
Wasn't it like right down the road from each other?
You would think it wouldn't matter, but you go a half mile and whoa, did shit change.
Yeah, I would Airbnb my camper, but it's hard telling how cold it's going to be on New Year's.
Is that legal? Can you do that?
What, Airbnb a camper?
Do people do that?
Yeah, but it's not Airbnb. I don't think people do it through Airbnb. I can't remember what it's called, but there is something like that where people will set up a camper and then people can just stop there and stay there, just like an Airbnb setup.
Right now, I'm trying to think of who's worse: the person who actually Airbnbs their camper, or the person who stays in the camper.
I mean, if you're traveling and you just need a spot to sleep in for $30, you know what? Why not?
What's the advantage of the camper over Motel 6?
Probably cheaper.
Have you ever stayed at a Motel 6?
No, I don't want to either.
I'm just saying. From someone who stayed in many.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe less cockroaches.
I mean, I hope your camper is cleaner than a Motel 6, but yeah, New Year's plans. I'm going to the woods. It's settled.
Okay.
Getting the
Come
hell
on
out of
down.
here.
Come on down.
Getting the hell out of here. Baker Mayfield as a Panther.
Yeah. We haven't really got to talk about this a whole lot. Just what's
Wasn't
your
anything to talk about.
What's your thoughts?
I mean, good for him. I'm bummed. I hated the way this ended. Or I hate the way this ended, I should say.
How do you think a quarterback should feel if 3 years ago, well, 4 years ago, I guess, Baker was number 1 in the draft, right?
He was.
You go number 1 in the draft, and then 4 years later, you're traded for a 5th round draft pick.
Yeah, but the team's paying half your salary.
That's true.
So, well, think about it this way. If you go back to 2018 and tell the Panthers they're going to have 2 of the top 3 picks of the draft in 2022, they're going to be like, holy shit, we're going to the Super Bowl. But
maybe. But also, I want to see how that plays out. You think they'll make Darnold and Baker kind of go at it to see who's going to be the number 1 guy, or you think Darnold
they'll
is
call
the
it a
guy?
quarterback competition? But let's get real. If Baker's healthy, he's the guy.
You think?
Yes,
I
1,000%.
thought they were all in on Darnold being the guy. I know he got hurt last season, but
Well, so did Baker. And here's where I'm indifferent on the whole thing. Like I said, I don't like the way it ended. I am a Baker fan. I was pro Baker, but they didn't make him play hurt last year. He did that on his own. So let me say this. I don't know what the outcome would have been if he had, after week 2, said, you know what, my shoulder's fucked up. I'm going to sit out the rest of the season, get my surgery, come back stronger than ever next year. I don't know what would have happened in the offseason this season. Would they have trusted that would have worked? Or would they have signed somebody else, in this case, Deshaun Watson, and said, so long, Baker? I tend to feel that football is dominated. Decision-making in football is dominated by the metrics and by the number. So that terrible season that he had last year, while playing hurt, really fucked his chances of getting a contract from the Browns. That's just my belief. I think if he takes the approach like, guys, I'm hurt. I don't feel like the team's going to be better with me in the games. I'm going to sit out. I don't know how sympathetic they would have been.
But then if you go with a backup quarterback who maybe doesn't do well either, do you look at Cleveland Browns as a whole as a team, or do you look at it, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think in that situation, you go, well, we do have the highest paid backup in the NFL. Maybe we just run with him instead of letting this guy play hurt.
True.
Every analyst in football, especially every analyst that played quarterback, was like, yeah, it's not helping him. His throwing motion is off because of his shoulder. You're not seeing the real guy out there.
So has he gotten the surgery?
Pretty sure. I'm sure he got it immediately. Yeah.
I didn't know for sure because I know that what I seen today was it's still pending a physical, like the whole
yeah.
trade.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
How often does that really go, oh, you didn't pass your physical? Sorry. How often does that happen? Especially for like a high profile guy like this. Like, it doesn't happen often.
You're looking at possibly a still suspended Deshaun Watson. So are you going to go out and get a Jacoby Brissett jersey like right away?
I'm riding with Jacoby. Told you he's my starter week 1. And oh, by the way, in week 1 they play the Panthers.
I seen that. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
That's kind of neat though. Both of our teams are doing that because I've got Denver plays Seattle first game.
Yeah. That's So I mean, I don't have much to say other than it sucks. Like, I was a fan, but it is what it is at this point.
Was so you're not your fandom won't follow to Carolina?
No. I'm not gonna wish him to do poorly, but no, it's done. I'll still like him. If he does well, I'm gonna, but no, I mean, whatever. Not rooting for the fucking Panthers in week 1, that's for sure. In week 1, Baker can suck a dick.
Jeez.
So, hey, man, that's how it is. That's how it is, dude.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm not one of these Baker haters, man. I never have been. And for the people that are, football is I was thinking about this too. Football is a very specific fandom, meaning fans are really compelled to armchair a situation in football. I guess that's why it's called armchair quarterbacking. I feel like you see it more in football, and I think this has a lot to do with nerds playing fantasy football. Because you think about it, fantasy football was it was the start of it all, right? Long before there was ever fantasy anything else, there was fantasy football. And I felt like it gave people this false sense of like they knew the game better than the actual players. It's like, no, dude. You read a magazine 5 minutes before you submit a lineup and you listen to what other people say about players, and then you act like you know everything. I hate fantasy football.
Isn't it crazy that we kind of have like armchair? I don't know what you would call it, but like MMA, we have it in like with UFC and Bellator now too. I think.
Give me an example.
Just like any random person who's like sitting at home watching an MMA fight, like, oh no, do this. Oh, you need to do this. You should be doing this. You should be doing this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they could do it better if they were standing in the octagon.
Who does that? Do you know someone that does that?
No, well, not specifically, but I bet it happens a lot.
I mean, I know people that like, not personally, but I know people like talk shit and mock fighters, ESPN, and that bothers me. But with football, it feels very specific, and I don't know why, but it felt like Baker got in just an extra amount of hate for for what reason? His stats say otherwise. There were all these people that came out of the woodwork when Odell Beckham's dad posted those videos, and it's like, that is so out of context. But all these people are like, see, he does suck. Like, Odell couldn't be wrong. Like, yeah, he could be. And then there were the people like, yeah, look, as soon as he went to the Rams, he balled out. Like, oh, okay. You mean that stacked offensive threat that the Rams posed? You mean he fit into that well? Jeez. What are we even talking about? And a quarterback who wasn't hurt and had something to prove. Well, I'm glad you brought up MMA. Did you watch the fights this weekend? Have you?
No, I did not. I've seen some highlights, but that's all I got to really do. Because remember, I was doing white guy stuff. Camping with no cell service.
You tend to do that.
Yeah. Which sucks because I did not. Which I don't know if ever. I don't know. Did you have a feeling that Cowboy was going to retire after this fight beforehand?
I hoped he would.
Because he only got to 49, right? Wasn't he shooting for 50? I thought that was the goal.
50 fights. Yeah. But I mean, he said he wasn't. He doesn't want to do it anymore, man. And I think that's the honest way to do it.
How many? And maybe I've missed some. Maybe you might be able to tell me a few. But how many fighters do you know that when they retire, their biggest thing is, I just don't love it anymore. Like, and that's what they say is, I don't love it anymore. This just isn't what I want to do anymore. A lot of times it's like injuries get the best of you, or, something along those lines, but not like, I just don't love it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, Anthony Johnson said something similar to that. But he said something along the lines of, I never really liked getting punched in the face, so I think I'm done doing this. I'm paraphrasing, obviously.
Yeah.
Jessica I retired in the prelims before Cowboy did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she kind of said something along the same lines. I can't remember exactly what she said.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what Joanna said. I don't think she said it. Well, I think Joanna kind of said the same thing. There are different ways to saying it, but Cowboy just flat out said, I don't fucking, I'm
Yeah.
not the same guy. I'm not the guy that wanted to fight 5 times a year. Like,
Yeah.
probably has a large part to do with why he doesn't love it anymore. Let's be honest. Like, how long can you do that? Realistically, how long can you be that guy that's like, when, where? Cool.
Well, I mean, we can ask Magny.
It's a good point. Look at what that got him.
True.
It's a bummer. He didn't
You
retire.
were you were hyping that up pretty good before the fight too. Seen that on social media.
Oh, the fact that he would have the record.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think one thing that's overlooked with him to most people, unless you really follow MMA, is that, I mean, he fought 5 times in a calendar year. And then the year after that, he fought 4 times. And that wasn't even in the calendar year. That wasn't within a span of like 10. So we're talking 9 fights in less than 2 years against monsters too. These aren't like throwaway. He's fighting Damian Maia. He's fighting Hector Lombard. He's fighting Lorenz Larkin and guys like that. Like, come on, dude. And then he gets to a position where, okay, now I'm in the rankings. Now there's a little bit of buzz. He needs to win that fight. He loses that fight. Then he goes back, goes on another streak. Never once asks for anything other than, oh, nobody wants to fight that guy. Well, I'll be the guy to do it.
Right.
You know, Rachmanov, the guy you fought. I mean, nobody wants to fight that guy. Neil Magny, for whatever reason, being ranked 10th, coming off wins. It's like, yeah, I'll do it. I'm like, why are you doing that? You don't have to do that. Like, ask to fight somebody else in the top 10. Like, but he did it. And it cost me. But, I was hyping it up. I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, I'm a big fan of guys like that. He also doesn't talk shit. He doesn't, he's just very much like a hard worker and puts his head down and just does his job. And sometimes he wins. Sometimes he loses,
Do you know how that works in the UFC? Like, once you have a fight, is there a certain amount of time you have to stay out before you can fight again just by UFC policy?
No, it only depends on injury. So like if you get it, injury suspended, then yeah. But no, I mean, if you're not on injury suspension, I mean, we've seen guys do it. I mean, that's how Hamzat became as popular as he is, because he fought in like 2 fights in 9 days or whatever it was, or
Oh, really? I don't think I remember that.
Yeah, during the pandemic. Yeah.
Huh.
2 fights in 10 days or whatever it was. Yeah. Fought on one card, won quickly, and then he was like, yeah, I'll fight again. And fought again. Bobby Green is a recent one that I can think of. He won his fight, and then 2 weeks later he fought Makachev. Like, ugh, not really the fight you want to take on short notice, but good luck, bro. I'm rooting for you.
To have some extra, I guess, just respect. You have to have some extra respect for those guys who take short notice fights. Because I mean, anybody who just looks at MMA and just looks at 2 guys just fighting each other in the octagon, it's like, man, a lot, there could be a 3-month camp leading up to this fight if you know who you're supposed to face. And then all of a sudden, if somebody has to drop out for injury and then somebody else just jumps in on like a couple of days notice, like, there's no game plan to be had. It's just like, okay, well, this guy is sparring heavy or he's ground heavy or something like that. We know this is what we need to train leading up to the fight.
Yeah, and also you got to factor in weight cutting and all that nonsense too. Oh,
yeah.
Eric Anders was on Rogan a couple weeks ago, I want to say. I listened to some of it. I didn't listen to all of it, but one of the first things Joe Rogan asked him was like, dude, I can't believe you make 185 pounds. He's like, what the fuck do you weigh right now? He's like, 235. And he's like, dude, what is happening? He's like, well, it takes me a full 8-week camp to make 185. He's like, without it, I'll never do it. He's like, because for 8 weeks, well, and he said like, he doesn't try to like cut down in a short amount of time. Like for 8 weeks, he's going to strict diet and, obviously work out and get his weight down.
Yeah. Which is the right way to do it.
But for some people, that's hard, man.
I'm sure.
It's discipline. Don't get me wrong, but for some people, that's hard. But I think that I was thinking about this because I saw an old friend recently who used to wrestle, and he always had a hard time dieting because he couldn't find a diet that worked for him because his metabolism was just out of this fucking world. So he was constantly eating, and he wasn't like putting on weight, but he wasn't losing weight. He was just at the weight he was at because he was just constantly, he felt like he was fueling the fire, as he would say it. Like, I'm just constantly eating because I'm always fucking hungry. He's like, I don't know what to do. He's like, we're working out 3-4 times a day. And he's like, I'm burning however many calories. He's like, I have to eat. So he would always cut weight 2-3 days before a match. And it'd be easy for him to cut because he wasn't cutting a lot, probably 10 pounds. Okay. But he was never able to find a diet or anything that worked for him. It was just, I got to eat. Doesn't matter what it is. Just give me food. And he'd be fucking, dude, after a weight cut, he'd be eating fucking like Asiago cheese bagels and donuts, and fucking, he would buy those wrapped baked potatoes you can put in the microwave, you know, buying those and microwaving them and just eating it with his hand, like anything to just like refuel.
Right.
Yeah, that's gotta suck, man. But yeah, Eric Anders was like, yeah, I'm 235. I'll get down to 185. Give me the time.
I would kind of like to know, like behind the scenes, how much after they banned the IV, which was probably like 4 years ago now, something like that, like how much difference they've had as far as what people do, how if most fighters have changed things up, or if they've at least tried to stay more around their fighting weight the majority of the year or something along those lines.
So
I'm sure that some still don't. They just, go after it hard for the last like 2 weeks.
Yeah. So like, I would say no. I would say most guys don't try to stay around their fighting weight. I would say that they just do what they want. And from there, lose the weight. And then, the fight of the night, or that night, night of the fight, I should say, they're up pretty high. So like Jalen Turner was the feature fight on the prelims this past weekend, and he's 6'3" and fights at 155. Okay.
Jesus.
Which is absurd. It's absurd. But people were talking shit on Twitter. Like, yeah, he's got to be 185 pounds when he gets into the octagon. And he yesterday posted a picture. So yesterday was the 5th. The fights were on what day? The 2nd? Something like that.
Yeah.
So we're 3-4 days after the fact of him fighting, which he won, by the way. Impressive win. And he was only 178. So he's like, to all you haters out there, I haven't even hit 180 yet. But I'm like, yeah, in 2 days, bro, you're going to be 190. But that's nuts. And that is an advantage. That's why people do it. That guy has an advantage.
Didn't they say, like, when Brock Lesnar fought, it was just stupid how fast he put weight back on?
He wasn't cutting that much, though, right?
Well, I don't know what he walks around at, but he had to. I mean, he was heavyweight, right? So he had to be at least under 265. Is that right?
He had to be 265.
Yeah, but doesn't he walk around at like closer to 300?
Really?
I don't know. I'm asking. I think he did. Maybe not.
I thought he was always.
DC actually came out and admitted the whole towel thing.
Yeah. After he gets into the Hall of Fame, he admits that.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Real slick, DC. Real slick. So it says here that Brock Lesnar's build weight is 286. So maybe he does cut weight.
About 20 pounds. Maybe it's not as near as bad as I thought it was.
I don't recall him cutting weight, but who knows? Think about it this way. Jalen Turner is the same height as Brock Lesnar. One fought at 265 and the other fights at 155. That's insane.
That's insane. That's ridiculous.
Insane.
I don't want to see what I look like at 155, and I'm 5'10".
You could make it.
I know I could, but I wouldn't want to.
Why not?
I feel like I would be a beanpole.
You don't want that Jesus on the cross look?
No. Not necessarily.
It's a good look. It's the Dennis Reynolds.
That's also like 40 pounds.
You weigh 190 right now?
I'm at 196.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Beefy.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You'll be all right. Well, I'm trying to think of the last time I weighed 155. It's been a while.
I graduated high school at 135.
I was 135. Yeah. But I probably weighed 135 until probably like 25 years old.
Geez, really?
Maybe 135 to 140-ish. Yeah.
Did you wrestle all through high school?
Yeah.
So what did you wrestle at? What weight when you were like
125 and 130
as a senior?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 130.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, when I started high school, I was 5'6", and I hit a growth spurt in between my freshman and sophomore year.
Okay.
I essentially, between the time I started high school up to when I started my sophomore year, I grew 4 inches, and I haven't grown since. 5'10", and that's what I'm at. Damn it. Such a bummer. Yeah.
Sophomore year through the rest of my life, I'm the same height.
Yep. Probably shorter now. Don't get me wrong. But as far as the main event goes, I don't want to get too much into it because you haven't seen it yet. But so I'd rather you watch it. I want to say this: like, people are hating on Izzy for fighting a safe fight and the fight being boring. And you gotta understand something, man. I know everybody wants to see finishes, and I know Izzy talks a big game, and and I've seen analysts, people who make money to cover MMA, be like, yeah, this is why Izzy's never going to be a star. It's like, guys, let's calm down. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Let's just calm down. This is his fifth title defense. Romero, Whitaker, Vittori, Costa. Romero, Whitaker, Vittori, Costa, Cannonier. 5th. He's defended the belt 5 times. He's had that one setback when he went up to light heavyweight, lost to Jan. He's defended the belt 5 times. He's only lost the one time, and it wasn't even at middleweight. He's never truly been in trouble in his fights. I would say the person who's had him in the most trouble is Gastelum.
Yeah.
And that's one of the best fights of all time.
Right.
So let's just take that into consideration. So it wasn't like he got hurt and then steamrolled him after that. And it was like, okay, no, that was a fucking war. So he proved he can win a war, right? Mm-hmm. He's proven he can defend the belt. He's proven that. I'm comparing his career very much to Anderson Silva's. Anderson Silva was steamrolling through the division, and then everybody started calling him boring. Everybody started calling his fights, he's not fighting good guys. And then Chael Sonnen came along, nearly beats him. Anderson Silva pulls out the submission in the 5th round. He was going to lose that fight, right? Mm-hmm. I think everybody knew that if Chael Sonnen didn't lose again, they'd fight again. And they did, and Anderson just fucking destroyed him. In a way, Adesanya's had his Chael Sonnen with Marvin Vittori. They fought once before. Vittori did really well against him. Izzy won a split decision. And Vittori always had that in his back pocket. Like, I'm gonna meet this guy again one day. And oh, by the way, I'm gonna get to say, no, I beat you. Everybody knows I beat you. And then Izzy, yeah, he won a decision, but he dominated that fight.
Right.
Dominated. When you have a guy that's that technical, you got to understand, like, you're not going to see him be a Michael Chandler that just says, fuck it, and I'm going to swing from the fences. When there's adversity, he's not going to swing from the fences. That's not the kind of fighter Izzy is.
Well, I wonder if, like, what his mindset was going into this fight, because I seen something that he said after the fight, basically saying that it was an off night for him. I don't know what that means necessarily.
It's easy to say that.
Fighters. Yeah, I don't know what that means from a fighter's point of view. Does it mean that something was going on, your head wasn't in it, or was there some kind of nagging injury going on or something like that? But basically what he said was, I still have this belt, which tells me that even though I had an off night, I'm still the best in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like when guys say I had an off night because of this. He just said I had an off night.
Yeah.
I'll admit it. You didn't get my best performance, but I still won. Yeah. Clearly, there were no doubts once the final bell, rang, who won that fight. He won. Right. I was a little bit disappointed that Cannonier just kind of didn't go for broke ever. Like, dude, you're 38. Your chances of another title shot are slim to none if you lose this fight, regardless of how you lose. So he didn't really help himself. And again, dude, you're fighting Izzy. That's a puzzle that no one's really ever no one's been able to solve.
Exactly. And the fact that you just said you're upset that he didn't go for broke. Like
I mean, a little bit
going for broke could mean.
As someone in the moment watching it, I'm like, oh man, I wish he would just, something, but he couldn't.
Yeah.
Izzy's that good. And I'll be honest with you, I think Izzy, in a very small way, had Alex Pereira on his mind. Now, here's what I'm going to do.
You have been at this for what?
We're going to go back and we're going to roll tape from episode whatever I said. And I said, Alex Pereira, if he wins 3 fights in the UFC, will get a title shot.
Yeah.
I said it. You doubted me. You said, no way. Here we are. Here's the fight that I think should happen. Because I think it solidifies a couple of things.
Before you say that though, I can't remember who I seen post that. I seen somebody post on social media and they said the best thing that can happen would be if Alex makes it all the way to Izzy, beats Izzy, and then afterwards just says, I really don't like fighting this much. I just wanted this fight back. And then just walks away. How gangster would that be? I think it would be pretty cool.
I don't know if gangster is the word I would use, but I mean, yeah, I guess it would be cool. Yeah. Here's the thing. No, and I'm going to sound like the guys we talked about earlier. I'm not trying to be insulting, but I don't think a win over Sean Strickland is that big a deal. Like, I don't think it's as impressive as the ranking and as the moment shows it to be.
Well, I mean, if we're talking ranking, we know how that goes.
Well, I said going into it, the only shot that Sean Strickland has at winning that fight is wrestle fucking him to death.
Yeah.
And he actually goes, no, my striking's better. I'm going to stay with him. I go, all right, dude. I thought about putting a fucking 1,000 on fucking Pereira. I don't even know what the lines were, but I'm pretty sure Strickland was a favorite. It's like, all right, dude.
Oh, was he really?
I'm pretty sure. But so, I mean, it's impressive in the way that it's your 3rd fight in the UFC. You fought a guy who's in the top 5. I don't think Sean Strickland deserved to be in the top 5. Again, just my opinion.
But we're still saying, are we thinking 2 fights away?
Me?
No, yeah. From an Izzy fight, you think we're still about 2 fights away for a possible?
Oh,
Izzy
no,
fight?
it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
That will be Izzy's next fight, you think?
Oh yeah, dude.
Where is Alex in the rankings right now?
He's not
at all.
No, he entered that fight unranked.
I don't know, dude.
Okay.
If it's just because of storyline and the UFC knows they could have
all
really
because
good
of storyline. It's because of storyline, and Izzy has opened the door. He's welcomed it. He's talked about it. He's had to talk about it because people have asked him, like, hey, that was the guy that knocked you out. When do you think you're going to see him? He's like, I'll fight him next. If he wins, I'll fight him.
How crazy would that be too if Izzy lost? Have we ever seen that happen? Have we ever seen a title holder lose the belt to an unranked fighter?
Well, he won't be unranked when they fight. He'll probably be, I don't know, dude.
How is that? If he's not ranked, unless he was ranked after this last fight.
I mean, he will be ranked because he beat the number 4 guy, right? I predicted it, so I want to see it happen. I want to look smart.
I feel like there's at least one more fight before Izzy.
You would think so. But man, I'm telling you, has entered the rankings at number 6.
Oh, okay. That's a little more feasible then.
You want to know who's ahead of him? Paulo Costa, Izzy's already beat him. Derek Brunson, Izzy's already beat him. Marvin Vettori, Izzy's already beat him. Jared Cannonier, Izzy's already beat him. Robert Whitaker, Izzy's beat him twice.
So literally, number 6 is next in line.
The only other fight I see happen for him at middleweight would be if he's going to fight anyone in the top 5, it would be Whitaker. That's the only fight I would think that would make sense. But did you see Hamzat call them out?
No, I don't think I've seen that.
So Hamzat called him out and said, I can beat this guy. I can beat him easily. Hamzat's trying to prove that he deserves all the hype, even though he beat Gilbert Burns. It was a close fight. It was a bloody fight. Both guys are technically speaking trying to prove that they belong after a few amount of fights in the UFC. I wouldn't mind seeing that fight, dude. How crazy would it be if the person to derail the hype train of Alex Pereira is Hamzat? Then you give Hamzat a title, and he fights at welterweight and middleweight. That's the thing that made him so, popular, is people are like, we don't even know what weight he fights at. He's just like, I'll fight anywhere, and they keep letting him do it.
Which I mean, really, that's not. I mean, that's kind of sort of gone away, right? We don't have a lot of fighters left that are fighting between more than one, or back and forth between weight classes, right?
Yeah, not really. No.
It seems like it kind of went away with when Connor stopped doing it. I mean, you would see guys like maybe a Cowboy that would go back and forth, right? Was he at 55, between 155 and 170?
55 and 70. Volkanovski wants to go up to 55, which I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Give him the title shot.
Yeah.
Give it to him. Make Chandler and all these other guys wait. Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Because he's proven it. Why wouldn't you? I mean, you let Max fight for an interim 155 belt.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and Charles Oliveira's talking shit.
Well, I mean, he's
talking shit.
He has the right to.
No, you don't. You didn't make weight.
Well, yeah, true.
But also, you can't be the guy that talks shit to the guy in the weight class below you, right? It's kind of the unwritten rule. Like, that's kind of some bitch shit. Why are you doing that?
Well, but no, mate. I mean, if you think there's potential for the guy in the class below you to come up to your weight class, why not? That's kind of where like super fights come in a little bit, right? Like,
well, yeah, of course.
If you can have more people that can fight in multiple weight classes, why not?
Well, I say you welcome it, but I don't know if you talk shit.
I think it would be funny to see a guy like in one weight class. Well, I guess you're saying has Volkanovski been talking shit also?
No, he just said he would like to go up and challenge for that belt. I mean, he's not a shit talker,
right?
And he's fought at welterweight, so
yeah.
He also weighed 220 pounds when he played rugby. So
freaking nuts, dude.
Fighting at 155, not a big deal. So I think overall that card was so stacked. I was so pumped for it. It was kind of a weird card. You had the O'Malley fight.
Okay, that was actually what I was going to ask. What happened in that fight? I know was it him that couldn't continue?
No, Pedro Munoz.
Was it an eye poke or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've watched the replay a couple of times. It was pretty bad. I mean, a lot of fighters have called out Munoz like you were just kind of looking for a way out, because O'Malley was, all things considered, winning the fight on points. I don't think he was dominating the way some people have been saying, but that was a weird moment. Holloway and Volkanovski was just a surreal thing for me to watch, because I've been one that said, Volkanovski didn't win those first two fights, and he just completely shut me up. He said, "Hey, stupid ass from St. Louis, shut the fuck up." He dominated. I mean,
are we seeing somewhat of a decline of Holloway?
I don't think so. No, I just think Volkanovski is just it's a bad fight for him. I mean, we can't say a guy's declining when he just beat the shit out of Yair Rodriguez. He beat the shit out of Calvin Kattar.
Yeah, true.
Up to this title shot, he beat the fuck out of two guys who were Kattar just lost, which he shouldn't have lost. But Yair Rodriguez is about to face Brian Ortega. If he wins that fight, he's likely could see his title shot next. So, no, I don't think he's done. I think, well, look, the one thing Volkanovski was saying is like, did that dude's chin's got to go eventually, right? Like, how the fuck has this guy never been knocked down? And he couldn't do it. Even in this fight that he dominated, he beat the fuck out of Max. Hear the fireworks?
I do. Is that fireworks?
Or gunshots? Who knows? St. Louis.
Nice.
Yeah, he landed on Max's chin often. And Max, I mean, eventually these battles are going to catch up to Max. I don't know when. He's still only 30, which is insane to think about.
He's had some of the most historic fights in the UFC. Several of them.
Easily. Well, I would say I would have to go back. I don't know if I count these Volkanovski fights as, I mean, they are historic, but not like the fights with Aldo, not like the fight with Ortega, where he just people were counting Max out in that fight. Because there was that whole thing where they had to reschedule the fight where Max was on live television and it sounded like he was punchy. And people were like, oh my God, Max is not right in the head. So people started picking Ortega to win the fight. And Max was like, what are you guys thinking? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had some. My favorite moment of his was probably, easily the first Aldo fight, or when he fought Ricardo Lamas, when he just pointed at the middle of the octagon and said, "Come bring it," and they just for 30 seconds just threw haymakers at each other.
For me, that's probably the most historic, but it kind of sucks because now we've seen it a lot more. because people like fighters try to recreate that sometimes. Even I've seen it. I don't have any examples on like who, but I've seen it where, the fight wasn't the greatest fight in the world, but there's 15 seconds left on, in the third round, and you see a guy, bring it, let's bring it. And I'm like, come on. Like that's been done.
Right.
Let's leave it where it was at. It was perfect how Max did it. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to control that though when you've been
I know.
punched in the face for 15 minutes. Like,
yeah, sure.
I say that when I play pickup basketball. We're down 15 with 2 minutes left. Bring it, fucker. Bring it. So, yeah, overall, just kind of a weird card. I enjoyed it. We'll see what happens, man. These are always fun. It was one of those cards that I think at the end of it, I'm like, I'm kind of exhausted.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but like mentally, just like all the buildup, like I put so much on Max to win that fight. And I thought, like, dude, if he wins, how do you not just book a fourth fight immediately? Like, you have to give Volkanovski the immediate title shot, Yeah. And there was this part of me that was like, what if fucking Cannonier knocks out Izzy? Like, what the fuck happens? Like, what do you do? So yeah, there was all these, like, I was going through.
What do you mean? What do you do? As in, like, who's the next fight after that?
Yeah. Like, do you let Izzy, like, what do you do? Like, if he gets knocked out, do you book a rematch? Or do you, like, let Izzy heal, like, rest up and give him a tune-up fight, then get, like, like they did with Cody when Cody got fucking knocked out by TJ the first time. Why did they rebook that fight right now? Like, let Cody go beat somebody and then, but whatever. What do I know? Boy, talk about a guy who has never looked the same. What a bummer. Yeah.
I mean, didn't he? Well, he had a really good record when he started. He was undefeated for a long time.
He was undefeated until he faced TJ. Yeah.
Oh, TJ was his first loss?
Yep. Talk about a guy who just kind of puts the gloves down and just swings and says, if you're going to beat me, you're going to have to knock me out, that type of thing.
Yeah. So is there any fights coming up that you're interested in?
Oh, there's a ton. I mean, I'm definitely interested in UFC 277, which will be 2 weeks from now. Dos Anjos and Rafael Fiziev fight this weekend. That card's kind of
fight night, I guess.
It's a fight night Saturday. Oh, so Ortega Rodriguez is the 16th. Oh, fuck. 277 is not until July 30th. But you have Ortega Rodriguez, July 16th. Watterson fights Amanda Lemos. That card's pretty good. Shane Burgos is on that card. And then you have Blades and Aspinall on the 23rd at the O2 in London, which is nuts for a fight night. Oh, wow. Paddy Pimblett's on this card too. Oh, dude, Paddy Pimblett fights that dude that was twerking in the octagon after he won his last fight. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't think so.
Nikita Krylov is fighting Alexander Gustafsson. Gustafsson is unranked.
Really?
Ooh, Paul Craig, Volkan Ozdemir at light heavy. Dude, this card is sick.
You say Gustafsson is unranked?
Yeah, he's unranked. Dude, he's lost like his last 4 fights. He hasn't won in forever. So this card it's a fight night, albeit at the O2 in London, which is nuts. So like Tom Aspinall's from London or from England. He's fighting Curtis Blades. Jack Hermansson's fighting Chris Curtis. Great fight. Paddy Pimblett, Jordan Levitt, Nikita Krylov, Alexander Gustafsson, Molly McCann, another Brit, Paul Craig, and Volkan Ozdemir. This is a good card, man.
Are you on this Paddy train?
No.
No?
Not yet. Like on the train, meaning do I think he's a champion?
Yeah.
Definitely not.
No.
Do I think he's a star? Well, I think he's proven he's a star. Is he a champion? We'll see. Like there are guys who can be a star and not be champion. Nate Diaz has never been a champion.
Yeah. What do you think ever happens there? Because he's still never been released, right? But it's been how many years? Well, his last fight was
Masvidal?
Yeah.
No, right? No, Leon Edwards.
Okay.
Someone just called him out, or he just called someone out. I can't remember who it was. It doesn't matter. I mean, Nate is Nate. Nate's always going to be there. He's always going to be a name, and we'll see. I mean, they shouldn't let him go. If they did, that would be stupid.
Well, yeah, but if you got a guy that isn't fighting.
I mean, Dana's already said, like, if guys don't want to fight, they don't have to fight. We'll book fights. It's not a big deal.
What the hell?
Like, they can keep turning down fights if they get offered fights. And I think Nate's always going to be a guy that they go, what about this guy? What about this one?
So, but what's the point? Like, what's the point in having a fighter on your roster if they're just going to turn down a bunch of fights? Like most of the fights.
Nate Diaz.
Because of Connor?
He's gonna bring eyeballs
because of the Conor fight, though, right?
If he's on the card, he's gonna bring people to the card. People are gonna watch.
Yeah,
that's why you keep him around. And there are plenty of intriguing fights out there that you can try and book with him. There's always the third fight with Conor. Book him against Michael Chandler. How crazy of a fucking war would that be?
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I don't know if Chandler would go for it, but Dustin wants to fight him again. Not again, but they were booked and the fight never happened. Which, by the way, did you see Dustin and Michael Chandler got into it? Dustin lost his cool, and it is on video. Michael Chandler was cool as a cucumber. I don't know what the buildup was, but you just hear Dustin going like, "You're a fake motherfucker." I'm blah 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 blah, and but was like, he was angry. It wasn't for the cameras. Like it was like, no, this ain't shit talking. This is like, if there weren't people in front of us, we'd be scrapping right now. Michael Chandler was like, "Okay, bro, I don't know what's going on here, but
that's weird because Dustin normally doesn't lose his cool like that either.
No,
had to have been something big.
I think he's fed up. I think he's just fed up.
Just with everything.
I think he's just fed up because he's such a nice dude and he's just tired of being the nice guy. He's like, this nice guy thing, just nobody likes it. Let me be, you know what I'm thinking? I think he's just done.
Yeah.
Just a guess. I don't know.
I enjoyed it with the whole Conor thing. But he
had to do that. He had to do that. I mean, you knock a guy out like Conor, who's already beaten you, and you got to talk shit.
Yeah.
A little bit, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't really talk shit until Conor said something.
Yeah, he didn't really. He just kind of made Conor look stupid with what Conor was saying.
Yeah, but I think the media set him up for that too. But
remember that press conference when Conor was going off and just saying some weird stuff, and Dustin's like, "You used to be better at this."
Yeah. I mean, did you see that Floyd offered Conor $160 million or whatever to fight in Abu Dhabi or something? I don't want to see that again. I don't care.
I don't have a desire to. It was a cool spectacle when it happened, but I'm not.
Yeah, but at this point, why does it matter? It'd be one thing if like Conor were fighting and winning and active, and even not even have to be like the Conor of old, but just like, oh, I've won 3 of my last 5.
Yeah,
I've beat some good guys. Like he's still Conor. Then it makes a little bit of sense. Just for like, all right, Floyd says he doesn't want to stop fighting. He's called me out again. Let me go ahead and do this again. But like, I don't know.
I mean, and this isn't just being a Conor hater. I don't have a desire to see Conor fight anymore.
I don't either.
I hope he doesn't, for his own sake.
He doesn't need to. That's what I'm saying. Like, but my buddy had a good point because he's the one that told me about this. I was like, he doesn't need to fight, but he goes, yeah, man. But if you get $160 million to fight Floyd in what could potentially be just an exhibition, not even all out, like an all out brawl, 160 million, that's legacy money. That's your kids and your kids' kids and their kids' money.
Yeah.
You already got all this money. You want to make another easy 160 million. You could
win or lose.
You could.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good point. But how long? Well, I mean, if it's the last one, if Conor goes, this is the last one, UFC boxing, doesn't matter. This is the last one. Then I'm like, maybe I'm intrigued. Maybe he throws a few Irish uppercuts at his face and catches him, but who knows? I've already been through this once. I was an emotional wreck after the first fight, and I had to go to Vegas the next fucking day. Fucking drinking on the plane afterward. All I was thinking about was Conor losing. I'm like, man, why did I buy into this hype? What's wrong with me?
Was it? You said Abu Dhabi, didn't you? Isn't that where the last fights happened?
I think so. And I said that
fighting on a helipad or something.
Yeah, I said that kind of making it up, but also I think it's because my buddy was like, yeah, that's that Middle East money. And I'm like, I guess they're going to fight out there. I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't even ask questions because I really don't. In the moment, I was like, I don't care to see that.
That seems to be where the money is, right? Dude, there are some high rollers over there.
Well, yeah. So that prostitution money. So I want to talk about something. Have you heard about Andrew Schulz and his special?
No.
Are you a fan of Andrew Schulz? I know we've talked about him a few times on the pod. It's the last Netflix thing he did, which he was doing on YouTube before. I was really shocked that Netflix picked that up because he does say some controversial shit. And I know Netflix had already gone through shit with Dave Chappelle. So I was a little bit surprised. And I don't think he held anything back on that. But you enjoyed that, right?
Yeah.
What did you enjoy about it?
I guess just the this is going to sound dumb, but like just seeing his side of everything. I don't know. It made you see a different side of things that maybe you wouldn't have normally looked at them that way.
Dare I say it made you see an honest take on some of these things?
Okay.
Not this lightened up, watered down stuff that we see on a normal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. And I think that he approached a lot of things that people, and especially at that time, you got to think when that came out, that was mid-pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention we're mid-pandemic, we're right in the middle of, all of the racial tension going on, all of the protests and the social justice stuff happening. And he took a very honest approach to it all. And for a white guy to do that and get away with it on a major platform like Netflix, it was like, whoa. People kind of were like, whoa. And I actually remember reading articles where, executives at other major networks, like I think one of the ones was like, I don't know, who owns MTV? Is it Viacom? Might have been a Viacom guy or like a Paramount guy or one of these guys. But he was asked about controversial humor was the word used on major streaming platforms. And he said, I think he's like, given the state of the country right now, we're running a real risk by letting that type of content get out to so many people. Something like, I'm paraphrasing, obviously. And I go, and when I read that, he wasn't talking about Andrew Schulz, but when I read that, I go, oh my God, it's kind of what he's talking about. Didn't offend me, obviously, but I'm saying, so for a white guy to go on and approach a lot of these things regarding race, regarding gender, regarding sexual orientation, it offends people. But I would say this, as someone who watches a lot of his stuff and is trying to be funny, it's just like with Dave Chappelle. It's like, it's not coming from a place of hate. It's not coming from a place of ill intent. It's not coming from anywhere other than I'm just trying to make you laugh. And you know what he has on his side? Receipts of the laughter. He does, dude. He films all of his stuff and he puts out these clips on YouTube and they're not out of context. Yeah. You see people react to this stuff. And when you look into his audience, there's everybody. White, black, brown, yellow, gay, straight, trans, like everybody. When he was in St. Louis this last time, he's posted clips of that. If you haven't seen that, post it. He was in St. Louis last Juneteenth. Okay, had a show that night. Okay, mm-hmm. And he was talking about. Well, no, okay. So I'm sorry. There was a gay guy in the front row, nails painted, toes painted, just like flamboyantly gay and unapologetic. Wasn't trying to hide it. And Andrew Schulz said something about it, but he did it in such an endearing sort of like, I'm going to make people notice you for you. I'm not going to make fun of you. I'm going to make people notice you for you, right? He brought up all of the obvious things, the nails, the hair, the outfit. And the dude was laughing the entire time. Mm-hmm. And you can see in that crowd, again, you have white, black, brown, yellow, gay, straight. And if you pay attention and you watch his work, he's not telling racist jokes. He's not telling transphobic jokes. He's not telling sexist jokes. He's telling jokes from a point of view to try to get everyone involved and understand who you might be, whether you might be white, might be black, might be trans, might be gay, straight, whatever you are. He's telling those to bring people in and help them understand who you are. Now, again, is that a very narcissistic way of doing comedy? Sure. It's basically saying, I know the world better than you do. Right? But why wouldn't you do that? How else are you going to get people to pay attention? There are ways to do it, obviously. There are people like Jerry Seinfeld who tell fucking peanut jokes, right? Fine. But I think he's very good at it. And so the whole point of this was he has this special coming out and it was going to be on a major streaming platform. He never really said which one it was. And he's put out a press, statement on social media. And there have been, news stories about it. I would venture to say that it was Netflix, if I had to guess, because he's already worked with them and they're the big one. But they were trying to censor him. They said, you need to cut out A, B, C, and D jokes. We can't.
Netflix was trying to censor him?
Whatever the streaming platform was. Whichever one it was.
I mean, I don't know for sure. I don't know who it was, but I was just going to ask you, like, do you think Netflix is that platform now where it's like Chappelle? They didn't censor anything that Chappelle wanted to put out, as far as we know. So I'm wondering, like, is Netflix that platform where they're just like, here, put your stuff out. We stand behind the content that we put out, and it because like I feel like there was a couple of other comedians too that it was the same kind of thing. People were going at Netflix for having this stuff out, and they're like, no, we stand behind these comedians. We stand behind all of this.
Well, I don't know.
Now if it is Netflix, then maybe not. Maybe that's not the case, or maybe they're just trying to tone things down to get out, kind of get away from all that drama.
Well, I'll say this: Andrew Schulz is not Dave Chappelle.
True. No one is.
So
Dave
maybe
Chappelle.
they felt that they could censor him. Maybe they felt because of the amount of money that they gave him for the special that they could censor him, and he would comply. Now, here's what happened: because he was being censored, he basically stated, I took all of my life savings and I bought the special back. And now he's releasing it on his own. So what he's trying to do, and he's not putting it on YouTube, not going to be one of those things, because this was like a well-produced, you can go on YouTube now, anyone who's listening, you can go on YouTube now and find a few clips. And these are the clips that went viral, and the streaming platform was like, oh shit, we've seen the whole thing. Maybe we made a mistake. So he bought it back because of all the money that went into it and all the time and preparation. And it's a really good looking special.
That's a hell of a risk though, right?
It is.
You spend your life savings to buy it back and then not knowing what's going to happen when you re-release it.
It is. But here's the thing. So he bought it back with the hopes of this. He goes, you know what? I'm not just going to put it on YouTube because I need to make my money back. We put our heart and soul into this. Him and his team. It's on for pre-order right now, but what he's essentially going to do, it comes out the 17th, I believe. He's basically going to put out he's going to make it like a pay-per-view where you pay, you get it forever, but you pay to see it the day it's released. And then they do like a live stream afterwards and all of this shit. And he basically is saying, he said on his podcast that came out today, and then he said in his social media statements, like if you, and he already has a built-in fan base. Like he has his fans. So his fans are going to go do it. The real question is everyone else? Are enough people going to come and do this and go on this ride with you for you to not break even, make a profit? I say at this point, if he breaks even, he'll be happy because it really is a good spot. Like as someone who loves stand-up comedy and I've watched, thousands of specials, this one looks really good. It's well produced. It's well shot. The state, like the backdrop is great. The everything about it's good. The sound is good. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Meaning him versus audience reaction, like the volume levels, like shit that I would never normally pay attention to is really good. It's just a really well done piece of work. So like for him to kind of take the risk of, let me buy this back from a major streaming platform. And I'm sure the money that he got for it was great. But you know what? He's like, I don't want to be censored. I want it to be. And if you think about it, it makes sense. And you don't hear a lot of people talk about stuff this way. A lot of times people see dollar signs and they go, yep, I'll cut out that joke. Yep, I'll change that song lyric or whatever the case may be. For him to go, no, man, I worked so hard on this for it to be what it was. You believed in it. I believe in it. I don't want to change anything. It's admirable to say the least. And I think if he does this and it does well, not just, I made my money back, like blows up, kind of changed the game for comedians a little bit. Basically saying, do you need Netflix? Do you need Hulu?
Well, what's he releasing it on now? You said it's a pay-per-view kind of thing. So
his website.
Oh, okay. So you actually have to pay at his website to see it?
I'm thinking that's the way it's going to go down now. You can go to his website now and pre-order it. So I'm imagining that's where you're going to watch it. But yeah, it's not going on any streaming service. It's not going on any YouTube or any app like that. So,
I mean, yeah, it gives another route to be able to release it through. And, if you're going through your own website, then all the money is in your pocket. I get it. But I guess that's kind of where some stand-up comedians started doing the YouTube thing, right? They just started putting it out on the YouTube page. Now I know, at least like with that, they're making money off of, advertisements and all that stuff too. But you
don't make as much as you could if you completely owned it and you had 100% profit,
right?
Which is what he said. And that makes sense.
It does, but doesn't it seem like stand-up comedians have been doing this for so long that it's kind of weird that they haven't done it this way yet? Or maybe they have, and we just don't know about the comedian.
No, they haven't. I mean, no, there are very few people who have gone against the system, essentially. It's the entertainment.
But then again, I guess like a Dave Chappelle or any other stand-up comedian who has a special on Netflix, I'm sure Netflix throws the money at them first to do the whole thing, to where it's not really much out of pocket just to do it in general.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's what whoever this was, whether Netflix or Hulu or whatever, I'm sure that's probably what happened with Andrew Schulz first, is that streaming service paid for them to do a special, and then they tried to censor him. He said no, and then he bought it back from them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what he says happened.
Right.
And I think, like, dude, as an artist, you have to respect that you want full ownership of your shit. You don't want to be censored. You felt that there was an agreement that you had a special that they were going to put out. And I mean, dude, what artist wants anybody telling them what their art should be, especially some person who, all things considered, sits in the boardroom and just makes executive corporate decisions,
Do you think there's a musical equivalent to this? Like, do you think there's bands who have went through the same thing where a record label tried to get them to censor some stuff or take stuff out or whatever, and they say absolutely not, and they end up going another route or something along those lines?
I don't know of any that have been censored by the label. I think if anything, the music, and well, this is what we have with music. That's where this, that's why you have explicit labels on music now. Not now, I'm saying up to this point still.
Right.
I don't know. I have not heard of any that have been censored by their label. It's always been the record companies or the broadcasting companies or whoever. And I think people have just gone along with that. Like, oh, you're going to bleep out that. There have been artists who have had like explicit content that hasn't been sold in specific retailers and things of that nature. But I don't know of a record label doing. I think with a record label, you know what you get, which is really funny because if you recall from the first season of Dave, when he's in the boardroom at the record label and they're listening to the what's that song called? Jail? Was it Jail?
I don't remember.
Whatever it was.
I know the scene you're talking about.
Like he bites a dude's dick off. They're like, this is offensive to so many people, we don't even know where to begin. Yeah. We cannot put this out. Yeah, I think situations like that have come up, but I can't think of anywhere it's like in this sense where it's like, we've agreed that you can put out this product, but now we want you to change it. I think record labels have been like, yeah, that's not the lead single, or we need a hit. You hear those stories, but censoring an artist, I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I'd have to Google that because I don't know.
So you said there's some retailers. Is that the retailers themselves choosing not to have a certain singer or band's album in their store?
Yeah, like I know, like for the longest time, probably Walmart wouldn't sell like death metal, for instance, in the store. And I don't know if they ever did or if they do now, but I remember seeing a story about that. What do you think happens if I Google death metal Walmart? What do you think I get? Some of Walmart's great value tortilla chips were called. Nope. Okay, so maybe I made that up, but whatever.
Well, I know we just talked about this a couple of weeks ago, or maybe in the last episode, about how Walmart, for the longest time, and maybe still doesn't let you, or like they won't have albums that have cussing in them and stuff. And I don't know if that's just like the family friendly thing or what. I don't know.
Yeah, Walmart sucks. So they really don't carry explicit lyrics in the store?
Maybe they do. I know at one time they didn't. I don't know if that's changed or not.
Do they see who shops at Walmart?
I couldn't tell you the last time that I bought a record at Walmart.
I can't say that that's ever happened.
It may have been high school. Yeah.
You bought CDs at Walmart?
Probably.
What did you buy? What did you buy?
Shoot, I remember. Oh, I bought the Switchfoot album at Walmart. I remember that. Trying to think. I'm sure there was multiple that I bought there.
Why Walmart?
Because I live in the woods and there's not many places to find records.
Do you
when I was in high school?
Do you not have the internet in the woods, or?
I do now. I barely did then.
You didn't in high school?
It was like dial up.
Was there iTunes when how old are you? Was there iTunes when you were in high school?
I don't think so. This was back in like the LimeWire days.
Okay, so CDs were still a thing.
Did you have LimeWire?
No, never did.
Oh, never did? Are you just saying that because you don't want to be on a list?
Never looked at it. Don't know what it was. Don't know what Napster was or still is for that matter. I think we talked about that they still get streams.
Did we talk about that?
Yeah, we talked about how Napster pays out artists better than anybody.
Oh yeah, that was on that list that you had. That's right.
But who I'm gonna go to Napster right now.
But so are they just a streaming service now?
Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about that. Okay, so they're
Napster.com, music from every angle. Rhapsody is now Napster. Try for free. 30 days.
Oh,
What?
Rhapsody is Napster now?
It's $9.99 a month for Napster. Who pays for this shit? Seriously, who buys this shit?
I don't know.
Sorry, Napster. I'm not giving you anything. So much for that. Really pays $10 a month for Napster.
I would like to see what their numbers look like.
Well, on the episode where we brought that up, I talked about it. I don't remember what it was, and I don't remember, but they were the highest paying, or one of the highest paying.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like the numbers that like how much they pay out. I'm talking like how many subscribers they have.
Let's
I would
find
like
out.
to see the number.
Let's find out.
Because we've got that, and then what's the one? What's the other one that's newer? That is it Jay-Z that owns it?
Napster has 5 million plus users and monthly revenues of $8 million.
That's hard to believe, right?
Monthly. This is from musically.com. This came out in April of 2021. Newly merged with Napster, Melody VR, well, it's called Napster now, has published an update on its operational performance. The acquisition of the Napster streaming service in December 2020 has enabled the group to accelerate its subscription-based revenue model, which now boasts more than 5 million users, including subscribers from the PAAS services worldwide. Pro forma revenues from the Napster streaming service and Melody VR service combined totaled 96 million in 2020, and during January 2021 generated monthly revenues of $8 million. Wow. Well, there you go.
It's still kind of unbelievable to me.
Me too. I'm not sure if I believe it.
Like, who gets their music from Napster now?
Did we ever get any comments about how Spotify works?
Not that I've seen.
Hey, people, we need to know how this works, because the podcasting is different. If I search our podcast, it just plays. But if you search a song, it doesn't play. Someone help me, and I'm not going to Google it.
I'm assuming it's what you thought it was, and it's the whole like you have to have premium to be able to
play a song. Are you fucking with me? So you mean to tell me I have to? What's premium? Spotify premium? $10 a month?
probably.
So you mean to tell me I have to pay $10 a month to play a song directly on your platform? How does that seem even remotely anything? How? What?
No, I feel like you're not doing it right.
Good call. Good call. That's why I need somebody to help me out.
I will. I'll post the question on our social media.
No, don't, because we're gonna look
If we can
stupid.
get some answers. That's fine. If people listen to this podcast,
They already know that we're stupid.
that's what I was getting at.
Good. Before we get
Go back and get some action, live it up and get damaged. Yes, we want this.